glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, so this video is going to be about biblical timelines, and when the time of the prophets, biblical timelines in the time of the prophets, which what you're looking at is an off biblical timeline, by the way. This is not right. Which a brother sent me this that was sent to him by another brother, and like I said, this timeline is off, right? Specifically highlighting these two right here. As you can see, it says the Persian Empire, then it says the Greek Empire, right? Which there is no Babylonian Empire included in this timeline, which Daniel and Ezekiel, they were in the Babylonian Empire. Now Daniel was Babylonian and Persian and Mede Empire, right? Ezekiel, he was Babylonian Empire. And we're going to go through some scriptures to prove of these things, right? Because as you can see right here, they have under the Greek Empire Ezra and Nehemiah, Haggai, and Zechariah and Malachi, which Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, and Zechariah, they were not a part of the Greek Empire. Okay, they were not a part of the Greek Empire. Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, and Zechariah, they were a part of the Persians and Medes Empire. Okay, period. And we're going to go through some scriptures to prove that, and which this shows as well that you have to be careful at the timeline that you may try to look at, because not all timelines is on point. Right, a lot of timelines is faulty. Now, I mostly use the timeline that's on Bible Hub, right? The Bible Hub timeline. I believe this is more accurate, right? This is more approximate to the real dates, right? Which with scholars. Now, what I do is let me go ahead and get this real fast. I compare different timelines and see the dates. I look at the dates. I don't really trip if, for example, if I was to look up a different timeline and it says Isaiah prophesies a child is born, you see it says 730 BC. Now, I wouldn't trip if another timeline said 731, 732 BC. All right, that's approximate. That's around that time, circa. Now if it said like 800 BC or about 750 BC, it's like, all right, bet, yeah, that's 20 years off. All right, that's close to 70 years off. So definitely not going with that. I will go and compare different timelines after that to see which one is adding up to 730 BC. Now, like I said, if it's 731, 732 BC, I'm not really tripping off of that. I'm not tripping off a year or two. It's circa. All right. So that's what you have to do. You have to compare different timelines to see, all right, which timelines is adding up correctly. Now if most scholars are saying 730 BC for this biblical event, if most of them are saying the same dates, then it has to be true. All right. Now let me go ahead and grab this. I believe it's Deuteronomy, the 1st chapter, right? Talks about having 3 witnesses. Which that's what we practice in our law, right? We just didn't, go off of one person or 2 people, right? We went off of multiple people, right? 3 to be exact. I want to say that's Deuteronomy. Yeah, Deuteronomy, the first chapter, and let me see. Just type it in. 3 witnesses. Boom. All right, 17. This is Deuteronomy 17. Well, actually, I'm gonna get 19. Deuteronomy 19 and 15. It says, "One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established." Like I said, not 2, but 3. But yeah, it could be 2. So it could be 2 witnesses, or it could be 3 witnesses, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, right? That's the process. That's the process according to the Hebraic law. See, even Yahweh Shai, he reiterated that in Matthew 18 and 16. "But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established." You see that? So out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a word shall be established. Okay? So boom. That's what we do. So you just don't take a look at what one source say or what one scholar say. You have to look at multiple, so that the matter can be established, right? So boom. So now going back to this. Now just going back to this where'd it go? Here we go. Pull it back up. Yeah, so they got this all wrong. They got this all wrong right here. Like I said, which I'm going to go through the scriptures. Ezra and Nehemiah, they were definitely during the Persians and Medes. Daniel, he was Neo-Babylonian, and also he was during the time of the Persians and the Medes. Now, more than likely, Daniel, Ezra, and Nehemiah. For sure, we know Ezra and Nehemiah were contemporaries with each other, right? They were around each other at the same time at the rebuilding of the temple, but not Daniel. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and pull some precepts. So let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's go to Daniel, the first chapter and the first verse. It's crazy how they didn't include the Babylonian Empire in that. But this is Daniel 1:1. It says, "In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it." You see that? So showing you that Daniel was a part of the kings as well, right? Which you had multiple prophets during the time of the kings. Like, for example, Jonah, right? Jonah, he was also during the time of the kings, which Jonah would be of the tribe of Naphtali. Let's go ahead and look it up. The word search for Jonah. All right, here we go, right here. 2 Kings 14 and 25, right? It says, "He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of Yahweh, power of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was at Gath Hepher." Right? So this is in 2 Kings. Now let's read Jonah 1:1. "Now the word of Yahweh came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying," you see that? Says the same exact thing as 2 Kings 14 and 25. Right? Showing you that Jonah, he was during the time of the kings. Oh yeah, this too. Let me go ahead and get this. This also proves, I'm going to pull another precept, right? This proves that Baruch, right, the book of Baruch is divinely inspired, right? Because you have these Christians, they will say that the Apocrypha is not divinely inspired, right? So let me go ahead and get this. Just a little side note. So Jeremiah 36 and 8. It says, "And Baruch, the son of Neriah, did according to all that Jeremiah the prophet commanded him, reading in the book of the words of Yahweh in Yahweh's house. Baruch 1:1. And these are the words of the book which Baruch, the son of Neriah, right? Going back to what it says here, Jeremiah 36:8. Baruch, the son of Neriah, Baruch. It says, and these are the words of the book which Baruch, the son of Neriah, the son of Messiah, the son of Sadias, the son of Esadias, the son of Chelias, wrote in Babylon. So Baruch, he was during the Babylonian Empire, right? Lining right up with Jeremiah 36:8. See, so that proves that Baruch is Canaan, right? Or a Canaan, right? So, boom, got that. See that? So again, that goes with 2 or more witnesses. So going back to Daniel 1:1, it says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. You see that? So we see that during the time of Daniel, or the first chapter, this was during the Babylonian Empire, right? The Neo-Babylonian Empire. Now you go to this biblical timeline right here, right? You go to this biblical timeline right here, which you have Ezekiel as well. It says Ezekiel. Let me see. Let me go back to that timeline. It says Ezekiel, Persian Empire. But right here, according to this timeline, and according to what we read in the scriptures, it says Ezekiel foretells the siege of Jerusalem. Now what siege of Jerusalem? Well, actually, Ezekiel the 4th chapter, I believe that's going into 70 AD. Actually, that's actually going into 70 AD. But Ezekiel, he was during the time of the Babylonian Empire, though. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and look that up. When was Ezekiel? When was Ezekiel born? Or Ezekiel was born during 622 BCE. All right, he was a prophet and priest, right? And he died possibly in Babylon. All right. So Ezekiel, see that? The book of Ezekiel was written during Ezekiel's captivity in Babylon. He prophesied from about 592 to 570 BC. Now let's go back to Bible Hub. Now, what did it say? It said 592 to 570. See? Look at this. So Ezekiel. See, look at that. It says that Ezekiel was prophesying about 592 to 570. Here we go. We see Ezekiel prophesying 593 BC. See? Showing you that this is on point. All right, Salaki, I'll be right back. Hold on, y'all. Right, and this is really all extra. All right, this is all extra. You don't need to do all these things. You don't need to do all these things to figure out, when the different men of the Lord, or the birth or time of the different men of the Lord. All you really have to do is just read these books, and that's why I always advocate for brothers to do what? Read the history. This is what's going to get you sharp. You don't necessarily have to do biblical timelines. I mean, it's good. It's good if you know it, right? But all you have to do is just read the history, and you will simply know these things, right? So let's go to Ezekiel 1:1. It says, "Now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Chabar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of the Heavenly Father. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity." And what was King Jehoiakim captivity? During the Babylonian Empire. We just read that in the book of Daniel. Let's go back to that. So showing you that Daniel and Ezra, that was Babylonian Empire. See? Daniel 1:2. "And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand." Whose hand? King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. All right. So now let's jump. So boom, Ezekiel. So again, let's go ahead and go back over these things. They said Ezekiel was during the Persian Empire. Wrong. Ezekiel was during the Babylonian Empire. Daniel, Daniel for the most part was mainly in Babylon, but also he was there during the transitioning from the Babylonian Empire to the Persian Empire. And let's go ahead and read that, which I do go into this a lot. This is Daniel chapter 5. Starting at verse 26. Now, when you read Daniel 5, this is when the Neo-Babylonian Empire gets taken down by the Persians and the Medes, according to prophecy, pursuant to Daniel the 7th chapter, pursuant to Daniel the 8th chapter as well, right? So it says, I'm sorry, verse 25. It says, "And this is the writing that was written, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, the Heavenly Father, have numbered thy kingdom and finished it." Now, you may hear me oftentimes use this for modern day Babylon, but really, to put this in context, this is really dealing with the Neo-Babylonian Empire, right? The Heavenly Father have numbered the Neo-Babylonian Empire and finished it. Verse 27, "Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Peres, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet." Now Belshazzar, he was the temporary king of Babylon. He was the temporary king of Babylon around this time, which that's a whole different topic, right? That's a whole different story, right? He was the temporary king of Babylon during this time. It says, "And they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old." Now let's go to Daniel 6. Daniel chapter 6:1. It says, "It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom." Now this is during the reign of the Persians and Medes now. "And oversee these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage." Now jumping down, right, it's talking about Darius. All right, verse 8. Jump down to verse 8. It says, "Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed. according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. You see that? So Daniel was also during the Medes and Persian Empire as well. So Daniel was Babylonian Empire, and Daniel was also Medes and Persians as well. Okay? And again, you see how I'm just navigating through the scriptures here? I don't really need to go to no timeline. The timeline is really just secondary. That's just, backup. I don't need this. I don't need this at all. But this is just backup, put in the cream, or put in the icing, or put in the icing on the cake, so to speak. Right? And this also proves it. And this also shows this also shows that Daniel was around during the Persian Empire. Now the reason why this shows that Daniel was around during the Persian Empire, because he prophesied against the Persian Empire. Daniel prophesied overthrow of Persia, which is Daniel 11. Daniel 11. Oh yeah, and also Daniel 9 as well, because Daniel 9 is going into a whole lot of stuff. Well, Daniel 9 is going into the Roman Empire, the other besiege of Jerusalem, 70 AD, right? No, it's Daniel 8. Daniel 8, where it says Daniel's vision of the ram and goat. That's the downfall of the Persians and Medes, which, I could do a lesson on that. That's one of my favorite breakdown chapters, or chapter breakdowns, Daniel 8. Speaking about the downfall of the Persians and Medes that got overtaken by the Greeks. Okay? All right, so boom. So now let's go back to this faulty timeline here. Now it says Ezra and Nehemiah. So now let's go ahead and read up on Ezra and Nehemiah. Which Ezra and Nehemiah, they both were during the time of the rebuilding of the temple, which it says it right here. All right, you had the proclamation of Cyrus, which the proclamation of Cyrus was the decree, right, to start up the rebuilding of Jerusalem, the rebuilding of the temple. Cyrus, he was giving us money, he was giving us material, etc., to rebuild the temple. You see, Ezra, the third chapter, temple work begins. All right. Then where's Nehemiah? Boom. So you have Nehemiah as well. Nehemiah, he was also during that time as well, and he also wanted to be there to rebuild Jerusalem as well. Right. This was during the Persians and Medes. You see, Artaxerxes sent Nehemiah to Jerusalem. Artaxerxes, he was a king over the Persians and Medes, showing you that they were not during the time of the Greeks. That doesn't make any sense at all. So Ezra 1 and verse 1, it says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, Yahweh, power of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he have charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Because the temple got burnt down by the Babylonians by the help of the Edomites, pursuant to the book of 1 Ezra, right? Because the Edomites, they actually had a hand in the fall of Jerusalem. That's why when you read Psalms 137, it says this. Just another side note, and I'm gonna read it in NOT. Psalms 137 and verse 7. It says, O Yahweh, remember what the Edomites did on the day the armies of Babylon captured Jerusalem. Destroy it, they yelled. Level it to the ground. You see that? And then verse 8 is going to confirm that the Edomites are running modern Babylon. Verse 8, O Babylon, you will be destroyed. Happy is the one who pays you back for what you have done to us. Happy is the one who takes your babies and smashes them against the rocks. But the point is, it says, remember what the Edomites did on the day the armies of Babylon captured Jerusalem. See that? So when we were being taken into captivity, right? You had Nebuchadnezzar and his army. They went in our temple. They took all of our silver, our gold, etc. And then you had the Edomites. They followed up, and they burnt down our temple. Which that's in the book of First Ezra. First Ezra, the 4th chapter. I want to say it is. And then they also occupied our lands too. Just like what they're doing right now. Yep, First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 43. Then said he unto the king, remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem, in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Verse 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burnt when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. You see that? So the Edomites were the ones that burnt it. See? So, and that was during the Babylonian Empire. So this rebuilding of the temple that I'm speaking of was a temple that was built by Solomon, by the way, that was burnt by Esau, which during the time of Nehemiah, Ezra, Zechariah, Haggai, during that time period, we were trying to rebuild back up our temple. See? So now let's go ahead and grab Nehemiah, which I already done showed that Nehemiah was during this time period, but I'll go ahead and show it again. Matter of fact, let me show Ezra with Nehemiah. Let me show that. Yep. Nehemiah 8 and 9. And Nehemiah, which is the Ter-Shatha, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto Yahweh your power. Mourn not, nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. See that? But I just pulled this just to show Nehemiah and Ezra, they were together, right? Two priests, Levitical priests, which Ezra, he did come from the Aaronite line, right? He did come from the Aaronite line. And Nehemiah, he was also a priest. So let me get this other one too that also shows and confirms it. It's another priest up in Ezra. Just bear with me. I want to get it. No, matter of fact, that is not it. What I read is fine. What I read is fine. Okay. Yeah, well, Shlakia, hold on. Just want to make sure I'm getting everything I want here. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. Yep. Let me look up Nehemiah real fast. Because Nehemiah is also referenced in the book of Ezra. Yeah. Yep, this is it. All right, boom. Ezra 2. Okay, cool. Ezra 2 and 1. Now these are the children of the province that went up out of captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away into Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one into a city, which came with Zerubbabel, he was one of the leaders. You can read about him in First Ezra as well. And I believe he's in the book of Zechariah too. All right, Jeshua which that's talking about Joshua the high priest, I want to say. Nehemiah, Shariah, Reliah, Mordecai, etc. Okay, you get the point. But the point is, it's just me showing Nehemiah also during this time period. Because you have certain scholars, they try to say that they weren't contemporary with each other, but the scriptures show otherwise, and other biblical timeline shows otherwise as well, right? So now let's go ahead and grab Nehemiah, the first chapter, and the first verse. It says, "The words of Nehemiah the son of Hilkiah, and it came to pass in the month Chislev, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace," which it says, "as I was in Shushan the palace." Now, keep this in mind, where it says he was in Shushan the palace. Who else was in Shushan the palace? Daniel. Through the Spirit, it came to my mind. Through all the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Watch this, because I just kind of went over this in the Q&A. Daniel 8 and verse 1. "In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan." See that? Daniel was in Shushan, just like Nehemiah, right? Which is in the province of Elam. "And I saw in the vision, and I was by the river Uliah." Now, you may say, okay, so it's in the province of Elam. So what? The Persians are Elamites, which this shows you that Nehemiah was during the Persian and Medes Empire. See? Hey, that's through the Spirit. Man, that's all through the Spirit. So now, boom. Let's go ahead. Bring this down. Now, it says Haggai and Zechariah, right? During the Greek Empire. They were not during the Greek Empire. Haggai was during the rebuilding of the temple as well. Going to hold that on deck. Let's go to this timeline right here. Okay. So Haggai, the word of Yahweh in Haggai, Zechariah. Okay, they didn't have nothing to say about Haggai. So let's just go to the scriptures. Book of Haggai. Oh, look at this. Ezra 5 and 1. Look at this. Haggai is in the book of Haggai, Ezra 5 and 1. Then the prophets, Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo, which Zechariah, they saying Zechariah was during the time of the Greeks, but Zechariah, see that they say Zechariah is during the time of the Greeks, but Zechariah the son of Iddo is right here. The Zechariah the son of Iddo is right here in the book of Ezra. It says, then the prophets Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the Heavenly Father, power of Israel, even unto them. Yeah, man, and even Haggai was even swinging a hammer. Haggai was even swinging a hammer too, man. He was there building. See, so you know this is really knocked two birds with one stone here for Haggai and also for Zechariah as well. Yeah, so this thing is faulty, man. This is not a real timeline. Throw this in the trash. Matter of fact, throw this in the trash. Boom. Because that timeline is not right. So, I hope that gave, you brothers and sisters an insight on the time of the prophets and biblical timelines. This was kind of a boring lesson, but it was kind of a boring lesson, but it's all fine and dandy. So, Yahweh Tazal, you brothers and sisters were edified. All praise, honor, glory be unto Yahweh Shem Shai and Shalom.